Let me hear you say Crux, yeah. Crux, yeah. Let me hear you say Crux, yeah. Crux, yeah. Crux, yeah podcast.
Crux proper.
You a clout chasing fake and that's industry dick swallower. I can give a fuck about you and your fake followers. Posting on your story in your daddy's Porsche. You flashing fans, let your parents cash out the chore. You want that? Crux, yeah. What's up? Back for another episode with the one, the only Jordan Mack. What's going on?
Oh, not much, man. Nothing much.
You're nice enough to. I'm still waiting on that door for my office to get put in so I can get the podcast studio set up. So we'll be back there eventually. But right now, I'm getting some of my comic friends to help me out whenever they have space available. So thanks for letting me come over, man, so we could have a chat, man.
Not a problem. Glad I could do it.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, man, what have you been up to? I didn't see you at Hyenas on Thursday. You had something going on. You had work.
No, I was. I just like after sometimes or most most weeks by the time Thursday hits, I'm just done.
Yeah.
I'm just physically, mentally. I'm just done.
I get it.
Dude, I can't wait until the day I don't have to work that hard ever again. I swear to God, dude.
Right. Oh yeah, make sure you get the mic a little closer to you, just make sure you get make sure everybody can hear that gold that you're spitting out of your mouth, man, with every word.
Yeah, that's right. Fuck the what's it called, the proletariat and the bourgeoisie.
Damn, getting Marxist on us, bro. Dropping some fucking shit right here, dude.
Dude, there was
manifesto.
Dude, I was just at a party yesterday, and like this guy was, because we were kind of talking about the same thing on the same topic about just fuck the man and all that. Well, he just went left, left, literal left leaning, but hard left.
Yeah, he turned hard.
Yeah,
hard left turn.
Yeah, where he just goes, yeah, man, just fuck capitalism, just burn it down, and then, but then at the end he goes, and then start a profit. So it just goes back to capitalism.
Well, that's the problem, dude. I think with all the because Karl Marx wrote that essay, and then everybody took it all seriously and started revolution and stuff. Different time, different place. And then fast forward a couple decades later, and you got all the leaders are driving in limos and getting all this money. Mm-hmm. The government took care of everybody. Well, I'm talking about the one experiment that they did in the Soviet Union, right? You know what I mean? So what became Russian Federation now. Fucking giving a history lesson already out of the gate. That's fucking great. So, but bottom line is, man, when they tried it over there in the Soviet Union, it started as something that I think everybody was on the same page about for the most part, right? As a country, then it ended up with, there's some select people that are kind of at the top, and then it kind of turned into just kind of a weird, fucked up, more poor version of capitalism, because it was a bunch of people had a bunch of shit. The government took care of a lot of people, you know what I mean? Because it just they supplemented everybody's job.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the downside to that, and then, you had leaders that were kind of corrupt and just kind of taking everything, which kind of ate itself from the inside out until it collapsed. And then you also had that was the whole thing where if you work somewhere, even if you want to get ahead and you want to work really hard and earn more or earn a spot or get promoted or whatever, it doesn't matter because everybody just got the same job. There's people that are just drinking on the job, sleeping on the job. They're getting a paycheck no matter what,
Yeah, dude. I mean, it just goes to show people are innately lazy and don't want to. I mean, it's weird because on one end of it, you have people that hate capitalism because they say it promotes greed.
Yeah.
But on the other end of it, you have the bosses saying that no, dude, it promotes laziness.
Yeah.
Because people are innately lazy, as just as lazy as they are greedy.
Yeah, man.
So you as the worker are going to do the least amount possible to get the most out of your job.
Yeah.
Right? And so what I'm saying is it's not very hard for someone to just drink on the job.
Yeah.
When there's no other reason not to not to work, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if there's not gonna be any consequence, then why do I care, bro? Why do I give a fuck? I'm just gonna fucking do my thing.
Yeah, if there's no, like people need consequence.
Yeah.
That's what it all comes down to, I think.
Yeah, dude. What were we talking about when we were getting set up? You said you're gonna be in Homeboy's wedding, and then there was something else we were talking about besides that. There was like something else that we were talking about. Fuck, I can't remember. Maybe it'll come back around. But yeah, dude, you've been doing comedy in Dallas-Fort Worth for how many years now?
For about, let's see, in November it'll be 4.
Okay, cool.
So like almost 4.
Coming up on 4 years. In a few months it'll be 4 years. That's awesome, man. Yeah, and
man.
you know, you've been really cool and welcoming to someone like me. I haven't told you this, but the main premise of like the podcast that I'm doing, this will be you know, it'll either be episode 3 or 4, depending on whenever John Brown passes me the audio files, because like he's gonna get them to me, you know, because we did it at his house, and then like, unlike today, I was using his record. Like we used my camera, but I used his recording equipment, so like he just got to send me the file. But the whole thing here is like about me, like, you know, transitioning from like the music identity I have, and then now I have this dual identity of doing like being a comic as well as a musician. So this whole literally like basically documenting like me starting week by week by week, right? And I talked
that's even more perfect, because before I did stand up, like I did music for like the
there you go.
I mean, I still do, but like I had like right out of high school, like I was like playing with like a couple of what's it called, like semi-professional jazz bands.
Oh shit. Okay. What do you play?
Drums.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, and it was dude, that shit's hard. Like, it was hard, but like at the end of the day, like it did make me like a way better drummer than I am.
Do you still have a kit?
Nah, not really. Like I just use Phil's kit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Phil
Garcia.
Oh, he plays drums too?
He so he has a drum set, and like before he had moved over to Austin, like a couple of us would just like go over to his place and just jam.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, like he'd do guitar, bass, and then I'd be on drums, and someone else would be on guitar. And
fuck yeah. I played drums for 12 years, man.
Fucking
yeah, from the time I was 10 up to like 12 years old, maybe like 12, 13, you know, because I started like being drummer in bands and stuff. We would tour, put out, you know, little EPs and a couple LPs and stuff with a couple different like punk and like metal bands and stuff. And then I made the switch to vocals after that. And then that's what I still do now with my music project, you know, because part of my income comes from music, from streaming royalties, you know. So, yeah, dude. So I know all about drums, bro. I had a Pearl Export Series, 6-piece kit, you know, with a bunch of toms. I got that kit because I wanted to be exactly like Vinnie Paul from Pantera.
Yeah.
And that's what he played on. He was sponsored by Pearl for the majority of his career, you know. So like I got like a double kick Pearl Export Series. Bro, I remember my first show I played on drums. I brought everything. I think that's what every drummer like makes a mistake of, especially if they play like heavy music, because you have 2 kick drums, right? So so I brought everything, dude, because I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm going to have both kicks. I'm going to have all my toms on the rack. I'm going to have all 5 of my fucking cymbals.
Yeah, and then, like,
that was the last time that happened.
Because, like one thing is, like, you always forget, like, that's not your setup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it'll work in, like, your particular setting, but it's not going to work at the gig setting, because like, and even if you set it up, like, you don't have the mics for like.
Well, and on top of that, bro, you got to remember, like, and I'm not thinking you because I'm like a kid still at that time, so I don't understand that. It's like, dude, you have to understand, this dude has a drum tech. They set up, it's their job to set all this equipment up perfectly, just how they want it, make sure everything's in place, make sure all the mics are in place. They have a sound team, everything. I don't have that. I'm just this teenager that's setting up this fucking gigantic drum kit for my, like, the first time I played out with that whole kit.
And
yeah, dude. And like, it wasn't the first time I ever played live on drums, but it was the first time that I like had, like, I was part of a band. These dudes were all older than me. It was a hardcore band. I was super stoked. We played this show at this college venue in California, and like I was all set up, ready to go. And dude, like, it was after that show, it was so inconvenient and so strenuous that I was like, fuck this. You see that quickly, bro. Every time you see a drummer doing that shit at that level where it's just all DIY and like they have that huge kit, you know that's like one of the last times that motherfucker's gonna be doing that, dude. Because sure enough, next show I played, dude, one kick, double pedal, fucking 2 toms, two cymbals,
and like,
hi-hat.
And it was just as effective, if not more.
It was like, dude, I learned my lesson.
And not to mention, or not to forget, the fucking rug.
Oh, yeah.
The rug.
That's so fucking true, bro. You're so correct.
Because, like, especially with the double bass.
It's going to be slipping away from you, bro. You're going to be kicking it down the fucking street away from you. Yeah. No, for sure, man. You're 100% right. That's another thing. I remember when I was still, like, in garage bands in, like, middle school and beginning of high school and stuff, there were these kids that were, like, seniors, and we were about to be freshmen. They had, like, a band that was way better than us. Me and my buddies, like, we had a band that was, like, we sucked, man. Like, we played, like, a couple covers, you know, like in the talent show, and we did well. Yeah. But like these guys like had originals and they were like really good. And I noticed like that's when I learned the drummer. I watched them play in their garage, and the drummer had on his kick drum, he had his feet of the kick, like the little pegs, you know, like the little feet to keep the kick drum in place. He pointed them away, you know what I'm saying, out this way, so when you kick, it'll keep it in place. And I didn't understand that I needed to do that. I just had him on the side, like just like down, you know what I'm saying? So like when he kicked, it would push back and it would keep the kick drum in place. I watched that and I was like, oh, that's how you're supposed to angle those feet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like it's little things you pick up like that, and then the fucking rug. Because if you play somewhere and there's no rug, dude, like it's going to be sliding away from you because it won't be able to grip.
Yeah. And like also like I was especially like guilty of this like when I first started, when I first started playing gigs or like, you know, playing where like you have to get like your own equipment, and you know where it's like, hey, like this ain't school no more, like this is like an actual like fucking like like it's a thing, so you gotta, well, I didn't realize that at the time, so I just had like very like shit equipment. Dude, there's this one gig that like halfway into it, the fucking snare broke because dude, and like the fucking like actual like snare came off, so it was
like the snares or the head broke.
No, like the snare.
The snares came off the bottom of the drum.
Yeah.
Whoa, that sucks.
Yeah. So or like, and not that it came off the bottom, is just the tightening mechanism.
Oh, okay.
Had broke off.
Oh, I hate that shit. Like, it just snapped or whatever, so you couldn't clamp it back on. It just gave out, so you just hear like this fucking rattling. Boom. And it becomes a fucking tom, like boom, and it's all fucked up too because the little rattle, like it's all rattly. Oh god, that would suck, dude. I hate that shit.
But like now, like the like I don't know if you've seen it now, but like the newer drums are like how they're built are like a little bit more what's the word, just practical on how they.
I mean, the last one I had, so I had a Thomas Star Classic snare. That's the last snare I have. I have not physically played drums in like over 10 years at least. You know what I mean? So, and I sold my kit that I had a long time ago. So my Thomas Star Classic, they would have the clamp, but then there was a little tightener, so you could tighten and loosen the snare grip on the bottom. Yeah. Is that the same that they have now, or is it even more advanced than that now?
No, it's like even more.
What do they do now?
It's like it's not like more advanced, but it's like simpler. Like instead of like doing it on the side, like there's just like a like the flap is like, it seems like it's like better quality. Yeah. But it's just on, off, on. And then like there's like on the toms, like it's like they make it to where it's much easier to tune, like to where like you can like actually tune it while you're playing. Okay. Yeah. Hell yeah. Like without having to like get on like each lug and have the.
Oh really? Yeah. So, with your key.
Yeah. So it like there's like a setting to where you can just turn it and then it actually tune.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah. I didn't know that. Fuck yeah. That's cool.
And like I'm just basing this off of like, you know, all the targeted ads and like just like watching over, just like scrolling on my phone, like, oh shit,
you get some drum ads served to you. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, man. That's fucking cool though. What kind of kit did you have?
It was like the one I had before I just sold it because I really couldn't really keep it anymore. It was just a little 4-piece SPL.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nothing. Just that, and the cymbals were just the what's it called? The ZBTs, the Zildjian ZBTs.
Yeah, the ZBT series, Zildjian. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, man. That's the problem, dude. Like, I feel being an adult or like being a young adult, it's like drums are fucking loud, dude. So unless you have the money to get an electric kit, living in apartments and different fucking situations, dude, it's so hard, man. 'Cause it's not like a guitar. Like a guitar player or a bass player, they can just put headphones on and jam away, and they can basically hear the same kind of sounds amped up in their ears that they would if they were playing on a actual on a amp. You know what I mean?
And like even on like a keyboard, like you don't even have to because like even with that, like if you plug it in, you can't hear it, but you might bother your roommate or whatever. But like on a keyboard, like it just sounds like plastic.
And so unless you want to invest in an electric kit, which aren't cheap, good ones are not cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's right.
It's like you're kind of fucked. Like as a drummer, you can't just like decide to wake up at 10 in the morning on a Sunday in your apartment and fucking jam away. You know what I'm saying? It's too loud. So yeah, drummers have it harder with that shit. For sure. Drummers have it hard in general, man, because they have the most gear they have to lug in and out, like with the most little pieces attached, and there's all like tiny little things, and the setup and takedown is harder, and then the fucking being able to jam is harder because they're so loud. It's drum. It's tough, dude.
Yeah,
like, it's
dude.
Tough.
Yeah, like it's not all cracked up. Not to say that it's not all cracked up to be. It's just like from the outsider, like a drummer's like, oh man, it's so fucking cool. But it's like, dude, like I'm not even number one in the fucking band, and it's always the singer and if you have a singer and a guitarist, like fuck everybody else, right? But
yeah, there's some drummers that are it's just weird, man. Isn't it weird how like randomly in certain bands the drummer is like just as famous or more famous than everybody else, but then like other bands it's not. I think it just kind of comes down to the personality, because like you got bands where, dude, bands that I love that I cannot tell you who the fucking drummer is or who the drummers have been over the course of their discography.
Right.
But then I got bands where the drummer is one of the only guys I know the names. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I bet you anything, most people that aren't hardcore fans of Motley Crue only know Tommy Lee. Maybe Nikki Sixx, you know what I mean? Maybe Vince Neil. But mainly, dude, like if you ask like a random person that's not really into Motley Crue, I guarantee you they're probably going to say Tommy Lee before anybody else. Like he's one of the rare guys. I feel like maybe Neil Peart from Rush, you know what I mean? A lot of people know him because he was like so good and he was so unique, especially in his time.
Or Phil Collins with Genesis.
And he switched though, because he made the switch to singer later, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he got some kind of cred there. Danny Carey from Tool is pretty famous. Travis Barker, he's another guy.
And like Tool's like one of those bands where it's like everybody but one is famous,
Yeah.
Because like Rush was kind of like that too, because it was for the longest time it was Neil Peart and Geddy Lee, but no one really knew Alex. But like. What band were we just
with Tool?
Yeah, with Tool.
Rush, Tool.
Yeah, it's like Danny Carey and the Maynard.
Yeah,
but who's the other guy?
Yeah, and Adam Jones is a guitar player. I'm a fan of theirs, so that's the only reason. And also, we should probably. There's like kind of a caveat there because we're drummers, so naturally, like, I'm gonna pay attention to who drummers I like are. I'm gonna know their names more than the average person. So I shouldn't say that, but the Tommy Lee thing I think was a good example because he's definitely
that's a great example.
He's definitely like a celebrity. Like Danny Carey's not really a celebrity. Like if you only know him if you're like into rock music really or Tool or something. You know what I mean? Like, but he's like a mainstream celebrity. So I think that's rare. Travis Barker's a pretty mainstream celebrity too. You know what I mean? So I feel. That's another example, but I think it's kind of rare on that level to have that level of fame. Like as the drummer of a band, I feel is a little bit more rare than like the guitarist or like, the singer or whatever,
Yeah.
But yeah, man. When's the last time you played?
Probably, I don't know, probably like maybe like 2. Seems like 2 or 3. Like it always seems longer than it actually was, but probably like 2 or 3, maybe 2 months.
2 months. Was that the last time when you jammed with Phil?
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So I don't know that guy super well, but I met him a couple times. You know what I mean? When he's come up here, now that he lives in Austin.
Yeah.
I kind of the time I came into the scene, he had just moved, so you know what I mean. He wasn't around as much, but I met him. You know, seems like a cool guy.
Dude, he's like, I mean, you know, just one of those guys that's like, where like you see him and you're like, dude, how are you not getting work?
Yeah.
Where it's like,
you mean like you see him perform?
Yeah, like you'll see him perform and you're like, dude, you're funny. Like, how the fuck are you not getting more work than what you have? And it's like nobody's really giving dude a chance or whatever. I mean, that's how a lot of people are, but that's how some people are.
I mean,
Phil is definitely, yeah.
I mean, the whole thing, I mean, obviously you know way better than me, dude, because I'm a fucking baby in this thing. You know, I'm like a month and a half in, dude, so fucking new. You know, you know way better than me. I mean, shit takes time, dude. It's not an overnight thing, right? I mean, it's a process, right?
It is a process, but the payoffs do happen overnight, if that makes sense. Like if you're not paying attention to it, like I tell a lot of newcomers, like when I first started, like not that I didn't have jokes, it's just I didn't really know what it was I was doing. Like I was kind of just throwing the ball up at the net and just hoping it would just go in.
Yeah.
Without having like an actual like fucking follow through and all that shit. So for the longest time, like I just had to kind of just learn. I just had to teach myself how to shoot, and then it happened.
Yeah, man. So, but the cool thing, I guess, for his sake is, so when I was working the door for the Shane Gillis show at Hyenas Fort Worth on Friday, like I was telling you, I talked to Tony Casillas a little bit, introduced myself to him because I hadn't officially met him yet, and we were talking about Phil because Tony was just on episode of Phil's podcast that he just started, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I saw you on there. I've seen you perform here a couple times, you know, like you're really funny. And then he was like, yeah, I guess he's getting a little bit more stuff down there in Austin, I guess, is what Tony was saying. So,
yes.
So that's cool. That's good to hear. Because they're both really funny. You know what I mean? Tony's been doing it, same time as you or maybe a little longer?
A little bit. I'd say, yeah, a little bit longer, which I hate to say, like I wish I could say a lot longer, but no, just like a little bit longer. But it's like, man, like this dude's like getting, it's like he's getting after it, and like compared to me, I'm like, I ain't.
Yeah, but dude,
doing it. Like I need to.
Well, see that might, and all I can tell you is just based off experience, like doing music for so many years and all that shit, like. That might be how it is right now, like in July of 2021. But you know how it is, dude. I mean, look at the timeline of every comic's careers that's famous now or that's making a nice living off of comedy. I mean, certain people like you take one comic, right? One comic had a lot of success in the beginning, right? And they got really big. And meanwhile, this guy's still like doing open mics, and this guy's still like barely getting paid any money to do any shows, right? And this person's like making it. Then a couple years later, that person like kind of falls off. And here we are 2 days later because the power shut off. So here we are, right picking up back where we left off. Yeah, man. So what we were talking about is, so I was
fucking that midget. And
so I was fucking that midget. Yeah, man. Everybody's like timeline of how they do and how successful they are and how much amount of time is different. That's what we were talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the amount of time you've been doing comedy versus someone else versus, you know, whatever. And it's like, you just never know. Like someone might have a bunch of success in the beginning and then they drop off and then you all of a sudden blow up. I mean, you just never know.
Right.
You just never fucking know. And you can't really use like what's going on right now as a gauge for what's going to happen in the future, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. You know what I mean? I feel like you just kind of got to roll with it, right?
Yeah, I feel that. And, but there was somebody that told me, I think it was John Brown. He had, I think he was telling me, he had told me this a while back. He had said, you know, just try not to think too far ahead, or else you'll just end up discouraging yourself. Just kind of like going off of what you're saying about like, man, like 5 years from now, like shit, because like I'm not doing it now, so then I'm probably not gonna be doing it then. It's like, you know, you just gotta take one day at a time, and yeah, like what's like that fucking that picture you see where like the guy's like digging, or like there's like two guys, and like when the first guy is like digging and digging and digging, and he like almost gets there, but there's like a diamond or whatever, and then like the second guy like keeps digging and digging and digging, and then he actually gets the diamond or whatever. I mean,
Yeah, exactly, dude. Well, and then have you ever heard of this one? So you got one foot in the past, and you think about how things could have gone, and what you should have done, and what could have been. Then you got the other foot in the future. You think about what's gonna happen, and you're worried about what should I do about this, and what's gonna happen with that. But you're pissing on today, and today's the only real day you got, or whatever. You ever heard of that one?
No, but I like that one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's old. You know what I mean? I didn't make it up. That's for sure. But I heard it years ago, and I always thought that was pretty cool. Definitely have to be a guy for that analogy, though. Probably not a chick. Because that would be like you're squatting on today.
You're squatting like you're squatting on today, or like the days just dripping down your leg.
Yeah,
you can't get fucking full stream.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what that would be. But yeah, man. So yeah, like we were talking about, what's the difference? Tell me the difference, man, because I'm not like originally from the South. So we got rednecks, we got country, and then we got what do we got? What were we talking about?
Oh, we were just talking about like the differences on like the classes of white trash, and I was explaining how like in the South, like you see an actual like representation of it, opposed to like in the you know, like in the West Coast, East Coast, or whatever, where like you just get like the fucking like cartoony like Yosemite Sam version of it, or you know, just a typical dumb racist Southerner. But like, okay, redneck pretty much is just a redneck is just like any other hardworking regular white person, but you just happen to have a thick, heavy Southern accent, right, and your fucking neck is probably red from working out in the sun so much. That's where the
gotcha. Yeah, right. That's where it came from. Yeah.
But like other than that, like, I mean, white trash. I mean, we all know that.
Yeah, we all know white trash. That's for sure. But then some people say I'm country. You know what I mean? Yeah,
but like that. Yeah, that's just like a geographical thing. Like the only time like I can ever accurately say somebody is country is if they are like from the country, like from the sticks, where like they're a town of like 1,000 people, everybody knows everybody, or you know, everybody's fucked everybody, like.
Right. I feel like so that's true, I'm sure, but I feel like also it's kind of become a brand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm country. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it's kind of become commercialized. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like that's like an identity now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's definitely like a it's definitely like a Texas like a lot of Texas people say it, but like some people can say it, but like I don't feel like people from Dallas can say like I'm country, because that's like that's city.
Yeah, Dallas is a city, dude. Like big.
Dallas is if like the Cowboys like family like moved into the city. That's pretty much what Dallas is. It's just a bunch of that. Right.
A
lot of old oil money.
Yeah.
Sitting over there.
Yeah, dude. I'm noticing that it's so funny, man. Like the difference, like, because I wasn't really familiar, but now that I've lived here for like, you know, almost 6 months, like the difference between like Dallas is like, you know, definitely more of a city. You know what I mean? It's definitely like closer to LA style than Fort Worth is. You know what I mean? Fort Worth, dude, people are significantly nicer. Things are significantly more low key. Things are significantly more laid back. People are nicer in traffic. Yep. Which I get used to because I live closer to that side of things.
Yeah, I will say though, like too nice.
Too nice.
People in like Fort Worth traffic it's like. It's stupid because, like, I mean, I think just like anywhere where you have a bunch of people driving, you're gonna run into a lot of stupid drivers.
Yeah.
But you have like super drivers, but you also have like very like two nice drivers here. Like there's like I mean, like I'm part of it. Like there was somebody like right in front of me, like they were at a green light, and it took him like a good like 5 or 6 seconds just to fucking like pull out, but didn't honk with a horn or nothing. But like that could have been like somebody like dude, somebody probably missed that green light because of that person. Know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I get used to it though, and then like I'll drive over to Dallas. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is more what I'm used to. No one's letting me in. Everybody's honking at me. Everybody hates each other. This is more like home.
Oh yeah.
It's way more like LA.
Way more. Yeah, like I'm stopped. Like I'm stuck, and like no, I'm actually like stuck. I'm fucking stuck.
Yeah, dude. No, I'll tell you, man. Like I absolutely love it out here, and I definitely like the fact that it's so laid back. I really like downtown Fort Worth too, man. Like downtown Dallas is cool. Obviously, there's some cool stuff. I've been down there a couple times, but downtown Fort Worth just has like this really like, I don't know, man. Like it's just laid back vibe, man. I don't know. I really like it a lot.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, people of West 7th. They're very much. I don't know. They're cool. They're laid back. Like not a whole lot happens, and like safety wise, like there's like the crime compared to Dallas is nothing.
Right.
Like Dallas, like something will happen.
Yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, dude, we were talking about like, so that's cool. That's the difference between like, rednecks and then country and then all this stuff. I'm still going back to what we're talking about, man. You got one foot, so the guy version, you got 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the future. You're pissing on today. I don't know. What's the female version of that, man? You got 1 foot in the past, you got 1 foot in the future.
Honestly, well, like, I think
you're riding the dildo of today, you're going up and down on it, you should be enjoying it, but you're not.
Or like,
I don't know.
Like you're squatting, so it's I mean, if you're squatting on it today and like the pee is going like directly fucking there, so it's like the day is yours.
Yeah.
Because women are, it's mine.
This is my day. Why is it getting so fucked up? It's supposed to be perfect. It's my fucking day. I don't fucking know, man. But yeah, dude, that was fucking hilarious, bro. Like literally, man, everybody that's watching or listening, you don't understand. Like, so the power went out. So obviously we're back here. We're picking up right where we left off. It's going to be a very seamless edit that you'll see and hear, right? But it's 2 days. I was here on Sunday. We're back here on Tuesday. And what you don't see or hear, obviously, because the power went out, is it went out. We were hanging out for like an hour, wondering when it's going to come back on. Mm-hmm. We talked to Jordan's neighbors. They're like, well, we heard it was supposed to come because it was the whole building, a whole section of his place here. And then they're like, oh, it should be coming on like around 6:30, which was in a couple hours. They're like, let's see.
Yeah, because it was like 2:30 at that point.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's wait around. Let's see what happens. You know what I mean? And we waited around for like a little bit over an hour. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to pack up. The minute I packed the last thing up from all my gear and the mics and the cords and the cables and the stands, beep, everything. Power comes back on. Sure enough, dude. So it just was not meant to be that day. But yeah, man, like, we're talking about, getting to know a lot of different, people and getting to know a lot of comics here locally. Obviously, you've been in this scene a lot longer than I have, and you're friends with a lot of people that, that I'm just barely meeting that you've known for a long time, which is kind of what we were talking about the other day. How do you feel? Like, how do you feel? Do you feel that there's like, and obviously we don't have to name anybody's name or anything like that. We don't want to do that. But do you feel like there's little different?
Dude, I'm name dropping. No.
You're like, I don't give a fuck, bro. I'll name names. I don't give a fuck.
Dude, I'll name drop you. I'll face drop you.
I was just gonna say, do you feel like there's like little cliques and groups of people? Like, you know what I mean? That come together. Like, there's like this group of people are friends and they're in the scene over here together, and then they don't like this group of people over here. Not necessarily like don't like it, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what? So like a lot of it is like I see what you mean. Like you walk in, like. You walk in into like an open mic and like you see like the same group of people that you normally see talking to each other right over here and right over here and right over here. And some groups are cool with each other. Some people in that group are cool with each other, or cool with other groups, and just just vice versa, and just everything in between. But like that pretty much just comes with like who, like where, like how the person it's kind of just like the product of like how everybody just came in at the time that they came in. Like when I started out with like 3 or 4 other guys, and like we had hung out, and then but like as time passes, some of those guys quit, others will come in, and then like from there the group kind of gets a little bit bigger. And but like here's this other group from a group of people that started like 3 years prior. So it's like they've done way, like they've known each other for way longer a period of time. There's way more inside jokes with them, just like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And or like there might have been some drama between them, so that's why they don't really get along or whatever. Like, I mean, what I mean? It's just like a small town. Like, like the community really is like a small town. Like everybody for the most part knows each other, and
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's country, dude.
It's country, dude. And then there's a bunch of rednecks that get in the mix, and then there's a bunch of white trash that ruins it for everybody, man. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense, dude. Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know. I feel like also, and I do not pass any blame on this, because so a lot of people know, not a lot of people, but people who like listen to this or know me, right? Know that I've been sober, like, off drugs and alcohol for a long time, and I've been in AA for a long time. I've been in recovery for a long time, and it's like a normal thing for me. It's like a day-to-day life. It's not something that newly happened to me. I don't talk about it every second of every day. It does not matter to me, like, in terms of, like, obviously, like, I like being sober, but it's just like second nature at this point, because I got sober so long ago. Yeah, exactly, right? I don't post about it every day. Dude, when I was new, like, and you'll see this when people, you've probably seen this, man, when people first get sober, they get off drugs or whatever, they're telling everybody, bro. They're talking about it all the time. They're fucking telling every human being. Bro, I have a joke like that I'll tell, not on stage, but in meetings, right? Because Shiva, right? Yeah. Like, so he's like, we joke about that, because we're like, dude, AA legitimately, dude, it can be a set. It can be stand-up, like when you're sharing, you know what I mean? Or when you're speaking at a meeting. Dude, I have the joke that when I was brand new, I used to be like, hey, I'm an alcoholic. And then the other dude would be like, well, hey, I'm the bus driver. Are you fucking getting on, or what are we doing? Are you getting on this thing? Like, cause we got a schedule, bro. I tell it everybody, dude, you know what I mean? So like, my point is, it's very similar. And I was joking about this with Shiva. I was joking about this with John Brown too. It's kind of like, it's very similar in the sense that you get a lot of people that are new. Right, a lot of people are new, right, in comedy, and they kind of come and go. Like, you might see some people like that are new, and like they might be around for a week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever, and then you just kind of disappear. Maybe you see them again a couple months later. Maybe you never even see them again, or maybe you see them again in a couple years. Like, oh yeah, dude, I remember that guy. Like, he came to a couple open mics like 2 years ago, and then he disappeared, and then he'll come for a little bit and then disappear again. You just never fucking know, right? Yeah. And then you got people that stick around for a long time, and those are the people that are consistent and stuff, and you kind of realize, like, okay, that guy's here to stay. So I take no offense when people who've been doing it a while, like, are just kind of like, they see me, like someone who's new, really new, and go like, because it's not like, I don't think like, oh, they must think they're better than me, or they must not like me. It's more just like, bro, they've been around for years, and they've seen this, dude. They see people come and go, and they don't know. They're waiting to see who's like really trying to stick around.
Dude. Finally, like somebody like brand new that has like that says it. You know, know what I mean? Right. There's so many new people that get butthurt about it, but like they don't like the exact thing you just articulated, which was I remember when I was first doing stand up, and I met or like 6 months into me doing it, Tony just goes, "Hey man, like sorry for like coming off as like standoffish. It's just, you know, guys come and go." I'm like, same, like I'd understood like it's the same thing. Like it takes like even for like, and it's weird because like I've been doing it for let's say 3.5 years. For someone that's been doing it for 10 or 13 years, that ain't shit. So like the fact that I even say that, and you're like, okay, well, like, see me in 7, you know?
Right.
So like to see somebody that's doing it for like just like 2 or 3 months or like a month or whatever, yeah, you just gotta like they just have to understand that it's gonna take at least 6 months to a year for anybody to be like, oh, okay, that person's stuck around.
Right. I totally get that, and I totally understand that, and I think the reason why I have like an extra level of understanding of that is 2 things. So first one is like we were talking about, it's being in the program, it's having been sober for a long time, because AA, NA, anybody who's been in the program, like clean or sober or whatever for a long time, they'll tell you, like anybody listening to this, they're nodding their head saying that's true. Same thing, right? There's a lot of people that are constantly new, constantly getting sober. Most do not stick around. Some will show up in patchy little periods. Most will come a couple times and be gone. You know what I mean? Some people will hit it real hard, you know what I mean, for 6, 8, 9, 10 months, a year, and then completely disappear, right? So when you see people that are around for a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, you know what I mean? Then it's like, then you know these are these consistent people, these are the people that are around. And like obviously it's not looking down on the people that are in and out, but it's more just like, hey man, I'll like acknowledge you, but at the same time you kind of got to prove yourself to me, you know what I mean? Because you know, we don't know if you're in this to win this. We don't know if you're in this for the long haul, if you're really dedicated to the craft. And so, and then here's my second example. Having been in the car business, you know, for years before, like, you know, working in dealerships, because it's the same thing, bro. You got people that are becoming to be salesmen, bro, and they are there 1 month, gone the next. You know what I mean? It's a very like fair weather job because it's not for everybody. Yeah. And a lot of people, some people can do really well, make a shitload of money at it, and then some people it's horrible and they fail miserably. And it's fine, it's just not for everybody. And then there's some people that don't do well. This is what I did. I didn't do well at it in the beginning. I struggled to learn, but I was like, fuck it, I'm going to try to learn because I see these guys are successful and they're making a shitload of money. So I applied myself and I learned and I got better. And then I got really fucking good and I started making a lot of money at it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's the same thing. And then once I did that, the guys that were like veteran salesmen saw that I was like grinding.
And all
like,
of a sudden they're looking up to you.
They were at least kind of acknowledging me more. They're being like treating me like a friend, you know what I mean? Because they're like, oh, hey man, yeah, you fell on your face, you're learning, you know what I mean? You're getting to it, because they're so used to people fucking trying it out, failing, leaving after 2 weeks, quitting. You know what I mean? So it's like, bro, why would I say? It's like a war, right? It's like, why would we be friends? You could be dead tomorrow, kind of thing. Like, why am I gonna get to know you? You could be fucking gone. You know what I mean? So I get that. Right. And I fully take no offense to it. I fully understand that, because it's like, dude, I have to prove myself. I have to show up to the open mics. I have to show that I'm working on my stuff. I have to show that I am here. I got to prove it not only to other people, I got to prove it to myself that I really want to do this thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. And it's like also, like being in this balance and like this balance of like, I want to do things that will take that to where my peers will take me seriously as a performer, but also not to where I look like some cuck ass fucking know what I mean? Yeah. Where like just like somebody that, well, yeah, just a fucking cuck ass that just kisses ass. Yeah. Doesn't like I'm not really gonna worry about my jokes. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna people please. Right. Like, I'm just gonna try to people please my way into, which is kind of like what I was what I was getting at when I was saying how like new comics will just come in and will try to like help their way into a career. I feel like if they just like, you can't just people please. You have to actually work on your craft. Like or like another way of saying it is like, you can't just be a good hang. Right. You know? Right. Like that'll only take you so far. You got to have a like. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you'd agree that you have to have a healthy combination of both of those, right? You don't want to be a fucking kiss ass that fucking sucks everybody's dick. Girls' dicks too, sucking the guys' dicks and the girls' dicks, sucking up to all the proverbial dicks, right? all the dicks. Yeah, we're not talking about penises. We're talking about, dicks, right? In a theoretical, you're sucking all the theoretical dicks, right? You can't be just doing that and then your jokes suck and you're not working or whatever. You're not. No, I'm just saying like you're not trying to get better.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
At all.
Yes,
like you know what I mean?
Not even trying.
And you don't want to just show up and keep your head down, and not talk to anybody, and not say hi and be awkward and show up and then just only work on your jokes and leave, because then no one's going to get to know you. They're not going to know if you're a cool person or not. And
exactly,
they're not going to know if you're fucking, for lack of a better term, like normal. Like they're not going to know if you're like a cool guy to fucking put on a show or hang out with. You got to show that you're at least to some degree, like you're not going to fucking take out a knife and stab everybody. You know what I mean? Like if someone takes you on a 2-hour trip out of town, they want to know that you're not going to try to murder him in the car.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Or like even then, like, is this like is this 3-hour fucking 4-hour ride like really going to be?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to feel like a 4-hour ride?
Yeah.
Or is it going to feel like a 2-hour ride?
Right.
Or like even another thing is like if something happens, could this person help us out? Like if a tire blows out or some shit, like could he change the tire, or could she change the tire, or like those kinds of things have to like go into account as a comedian. Yeah. And like in respect to like everybody else.
Right, for sure. I think another thing for me that like I don't know if I told you this, but in 2012, like I was not like in it like I have been right now, which I'm still fucking brand new, so it's not saying a whole lot, but I wasn't like constantly going like, getting up like 5, 6, 7 times a week and like really trying to do the craft of comedy. But in 2012, I like dabbled in it for like 5 minutes. I did like 4 or 5 or 6 open mics maybe over the span of like 2 or 3 weeks. And I did really well. Like I just had like a good little set. I practiced at home and I did all the shot. I was more like, let me just show up and do well instead of working on it, which you have to show up and just work on it. You know what I mean? You can practice in the fucking mirror. You can sit there with your notes at home. Sure. Right. But that's nothing compared to grabbing the mic and being up there in front of people that fucking hate you. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be like, that are just like fucking looking at you like, oh yeah, let's see what you got. It's different. Right. So I got up there at an open mic, right, in North Hollywood, and I did pretty well. And this other comic that had been around for a while saw me. He's like, and I said at the end, I was like, this is like my 4th time doing comedy, guys. Like, thanks for listening. And like, he was like, dude, you're pretty funny. You want to be on my showcase? He put me on his showcase. I fucking bombed like horribly, dude, horribly. And I fucking went off with half my time left. And then I fucking was like, fuck this, dude. I gave up because my perception, and I know this was so inaccurate. And if I had stuck with it longer back then, I would have learned this. But it took me a long time to really actually learn this. Is like, dude, this is how delusional I was. This is how like unrealistic I was. I was like, if you're really good, like you're just really good from the very start, and if you bomb, that proves that you're not funny. And it's like, dude, no, man, like people that are fucking some of the best comedians in the world were not funny when they started. You know what I mean? And they bombed all the fucking time.
Dude, what's it? I think Louis C.K. Like when he first started out, he bombed so bad that he didn't go up again for like another 2.5 years. It was something like that.
I think I've heard that or read that or something. Yeah. Makes sense.
Or like if they're not, or like even if they're funny, like the amount of like success, or not the amount of obstacle, or just the amount of bullshit that they have to. Like I remember hearing about this a while back, and I think it's a Bill Burr story of him headlining, going across. It was like in Washington, and he was in Boston, so going across country to headline
Washington State.
Yeah, Washington State, to headline this show that had 3 people.
Wow.
And it's like,
wow.
Yeah. Like that's how, like, how do you deal with that, just being like this club is like, yeah, well, like you're so not worth our time that we're not even gonna fucking promote
Yeah. It's kind of a diss when you show up and you're like, what the fuck, you know? Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, man. And like Kevin Hart always talks about, like, man, I knew I was funny because I was always the funniest cousin, like the funniest family member, you know what I mean? Like at all the family events, always like making everybody laugh. He's like, I knew I was funny, and he's like, and when I was really young and first starting out, he's like, I thought I was just gonna get up there and just kill because I was so funny. I could make everybody laugh. I made everybody laugh at work. I made everybody laugh at the house. He's like, and then when I got up there, I fucking ate shit because I had to learn how to be funny on stage. Yeah. Because that's a different thing than being funny at the fucking barbecue. Yeah. You know what I mean? Being funny on stage is a different thing.
Yeah, that's all artificial. Like when it's on stage, like that's all like you gotta fucking like you gotta like kill the fucking goat and like skin it and like fucking like cook it and like here's the fucking thing, like you gotta do all that, like the whole process right there, opposed to like at the cookout where it's people just when you have people like when you can play off of people, it's much easier.
For sure.
Like that's why like at work I have such a fun time because I get to just shoot the shit with a bunch of dudes. And just get the ball rolling. Right. But on stage, like you gotta roll the ball yourself.
You gotta get it right. You gotta get there right away, right? Like did you see Stanktoe's episode 500 episode Kill Tony when he was on there?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
It's cool. It's cool. So I watched it after I met him. You know what I mean? He told me he was on there a couple times. Yeah. So Joe Rogan gave him like some really good advice, man, because like he got up there and he was like trying to get as much out as he could in a minute. You know what I mean? And at first, like Tony and Joe Rogan were like, so, dude, like. You're going. It's just like that was so much. You're going so much.
It's a million miles an hour.
Yeah. And dude, all of us could get this kind of fucking advice. So this isn't me trying to I'm just saying this is what happened there, right? You know what I mean? It could have easily happened. It for sure would have happened to me too. But he said, bottom line was they started talking and kind of bullshitting a little bit, and then he started to relax, and then he kind of started to be funny, and he made Joe Rogan laugh when they were talking, like during the interview after his set. Yeah. And then Joe Rogan said, like, see, man, see how like you're relaxed right now? Like, see how you just loosened up and now you're actually being funny? You know what I mean? Instead of being nervous and just like throwing jokes at people. Yeah. He's like, I'm kind of fucking it up a little bit, but to paraphrase, he's basically like, you see how you're doing that? You see how you just got comfortable and now we're talking just like regular people? He's like, as a comic, you have to get extremely good at getting right there the minute you get on stage. You need to be absolutely 100% yourself with everybody the minute you walk up there. He's like, and when you do that, people feel that. And they understand that they believe you, and then when they believe you, they're gonna connect with you, right? Yep. Now that doesn't mean they still might fucking hate you, you know what I mean? But at least you're connecting, right?
But at least they know who they're connected with.
right. Like you just never fucking know. But I thought that was really cool because I'd never really heard it that way before, so it was kind of cool to hear that.
Yeah, it's like he took like a very Zen approach to it. Like he was like, see, when you're not trying. Yeah. He's like, when you're not trying, like all of a sudden it's much easier, it's lighter, right? It's like, and then time goes by faster too. Yeah. Because when you're not nervous and you're like right now, like I'm looking at the phone, it's been 30 minutes. I didn't think it was 30 minutes.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Because we're having such a good time.
It's a good time, man. You know, because you're that cool. It's not me. I'll tell you that. It's not me causing the good time. It's Jordan. But I'm just kidding. I'm pretty fucking cool. Anyway,
no, it's the AC.
It's the AC, dude.
By the way, like, when you came in like the first day and you were setting up, and I realized, or like I didn't realize because like like I'm like all the way down here at like a different atmospheric level where I was just like, dude.
Meanwhile, I'm chilling up here at 6'5", fucking heat's rising. Dude, my head is up on the second story of the building. I'm in a completely different level. I'm above the clouds. The air pressure's so different up here.
Like he starts setting it up, starts setting up the stands, and like I can see he's like starting like to sweat. Like I forgot. Like, I didn't even put the AC on.
You're like, dude, this fucking tall motherfucker's existing in a different climate, dude. Let me fucking turn a fan on and help this fucking big, white, sweaty motherfucker out. Nah, man. Yeah, that's true, dude. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that you helped me out, dude. I was fucking like, whew, getting a little toasty in here. But yeah, man, I don't know. So that was a good analogy though, to try to be comfortable, because I feel like that's the thing that I'll notice, like in my baby stages, is like I'll be trying to work on a joke, like at an open mic, and I'll be taking the joke. I'll be like so focused on trying to make the joke funny, and then if it's not funny, the minute I go like, well, fuck you guys then, you know what I mean? Or like I bring myself back to myself, that's when people laugh, because now you're being yourself again. Now you're connecting, you know what I mean? Instead of like trying to make something funny that's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's always like that's always what's hard about starting off, is you're trying to make shit funny that's not funny. Like when you're like that joke you have about like that Captain Planet joke, I really like that, because
thanks, dude.
Because like it's funny, you know, like it's actually funny,
right?
It's like I can tell like it didn't take a whole lot of brain power just to come up with it. Like it came to you.
Yeah, right.
In other words,
right.
Like when people what's it called? Like when people are starting out and they're trying to see like what's funny or what's funny, I don't really think they're trying to see what's funny. I think they're trying to make shit up that they think is funny, and that's why it's not landing. Because like even if it might be funny, it's kind of only relatable to you, and it's not really relatable to anybody else. Like Captain Planet is relatable to
a lot of people.
A lot of people
that are of a certain age range are gonna know what that is.
How old are you?
I'm 36, dude.
36.
I'm fucking old. I'm old as fuck, dude. You're way younger than me.
No, the fact that you even like, I was like, wait a second, like well, okay, how old were you in like 95 or whenever that?
So 1995, I was 10.
Okay, so then that's.
Yeah, right in there.
Yeah,
I'm actually kind of surprised that you know what Captain Planet is, because Jacob is 2 years younger than you. He's 22, and he did not know. He had to look it up. You know what I mean? Because he was like, I don't get the joke just because I don't know the cartoon. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. You're a lot younger than me. My sister is the same age as you, so she's quite a bit younger than me. But she got exposed to a bunch of shit because she was around me.
That's the same thing with my sister, because she's like 6 years younger than me, but she knows just about everything. But like, I was born in 1996.
Right.
That's like a very
same year. Yeah, my sister. Yeah.
That's a very weird year, because that's like you're like either like the youngest millennial or like the oldest Gen Z.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right, dude. I was actually just talking about this with her when she came down to visit me. About a week or so ago, and we were talking about that, because she's you guys, both of you are right in that cusp, because I think millennials or anybody that was like born in like 1982 or 3 or some shit, all the way up to 1996, right?
Yeah.
And then Gen Z is supposed to be 97 and up, right?
Yeah.
So she's exactly. So she's basically, you guys are basically like the youngest millennials, right?
Yeah.
Because I think in 2019 I heard this news report while I was driving to work, and it was like right after New Year's Day, or I think it was on New Year's Day or some shit, and it was basically like, so this is an interesting year. 2019, it was the beginning of 2019, and it was like, this is the cutoff, because anybody that is 22 or whatever the fuck it was at the time, you know what I mean, 21, 22, that's a millennial, and then anyone who's a year younger than that, whatever age that was, is a Gen Z, right? And then anybody who is 40, at the time it was like 40 or 41 or something, that's the oldest millennial, and anyone who's older than that is a Gen X or whatever the fuck. So I don't know, but yeah, I'm pretty much smack dab in the middle. I'm a little bit on the slightly on the higher end of millennial, but I'm definitely like right in the millennial pocket for sure. Like millennials, I feel like the deep in the millennial pocket is like people that like you were in either middle school or college, range when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
Right. You were either in middle school or you were in college.
Yeah.
Right. And you were either in like high school or into your 20s when the Great Recession happened. Right.
Yeah.
Depending on how old you are. Right. And then, you know, you were an adult, a full-on adult when COVID happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's how that's going to go down too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You were either in your 20s or 30s when COVID happened as a millennial.
Just a whole life of tragedy.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I actually have a bit about that I'm trying to work out. I haven't tried it out at all, but I want to try to craft it over time. Is like the whole thing about like, dude, millennial, like I'm a millennial. We got some millennials and we got some Gen Zs in the audience. You know what I mean? Like everybody who's in like their 20s, 30s, whatever. Like, man, shit is so fucking hard for us, dude. Like, can you imagine how fucking hard? Like, it's bad for the millennials. I think it's going to be even more challenging for Gen Z. Like, all the shit that we've dealt with. Like, you know, you got 9/11, you got the Great Recession, and then you had COVID on top of that, like, years later. Like, anytime someone tells me like Gen X or older, like any time they go like, well, why don't you just do this? It's like, motherfucker, do you realize how much easier you had it than me, dude? Like my parents, for
Especially
example.
Gen X, like
Yeah.
bro, you're a latchkey kid. Like all you gotta do is just stay at home,
right? Right? It's like, dude, or you talk to like a baby boomer, and it's like, dude, well, how easy was it for you to get a job out of college? It's like, oh, well, I got a college degree in psychology, and I landed a job making $70,000 a year, and my rent was $500 a month.
Okay, this is like just to show you like just how crazy it, like the whole like the whole generational like we are fucked and they are not thing is
Right.
is like I was thinking about this just a couple of days ago. Like my grandfather, who is dead now, he was 20. He had my dad and my dad's younger brother. And he had him when he was like 22 and 26 and had a full-time job and all that shit. Know what he had? A fucking associate's degree, bro.
Yeah,
like dude.
Yep.
And not just that, he was black too. Like black as like you get to be young black as a property owner, and like
that's actually really good.
And like have like dude, I got like I'm 24. I have a dog, and that's it.
Right? That's what I'm saying, bro. And that's how I wanted to like like that would be a good way to turn it into a bit with your angle. Like I want to craft something like that, but I want to be like, and then I want to take it back even farther. Like, because right now I'm just doing fucking word vomit with it, but like,
yeah,
that was like, so you go back, you want to compare that to my parents, like baby boomer. It's like, dude, like, oh, what did you graduate in? Like, I got a degree in like psychology, or I got a degree in philosophy. It's like, oh, and what kind of job did you get out of college? Oh, I got a job making $80,000 a year. My rent was $500 a month. Oh, where'd you live? New York City. Like, the fuck? And then try to go back farther than that, right? So take it a step further. Imagine being a white dude that fucking came out of college in like 1906. It's like, what industry?
He had a high school education.
Yeah, he like dropped out of high school. It's like you always hear these stories like you know like you know John D. Rockefeller, you know, dropped out of school because it wasn't for him, and he had his own trail to blaze in mind, and he knew exactly what he had to get done. It's like, fucking dude, there were like 6 people that lived in the entire country back then. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what industry were you in? Chairs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, so you made chairs. Like, where was your competition? It was Jim. It's like, oh, where did he live? 2,000 miles away. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, who is your customer base? Like, well, you could say like the eastern half of the United States, or like New York. You know what I mean? Or like whatever, like your entire, like some shit like that, where it's like you fucking, like you just made one pointless thing that today is like a commodity that 20 million companies make, that's on Amazon for like 99 cents, and it costs you $4 to make it.
Or like even something like back in the day, like if you owned the railroads, you were the shit. Like you were like literally the fucking But I mean, shit, we can make railroads.
Yeah. It's like, well, what are you trying to do now? And you know, and to be fair, like you could argue there's like a devil's advocate to that. Like, yeah, obviously, sure, like fucking being a white dude in general, like is still fucking, there's still a lot of white privilege that goes on now, but let alone like 100 years ago, it was like, dude, just being a white man, you already fucking were that even way more ahead than now, right?
It's like it wasn't even privileged back then. Like everybody said, like it's written in stone. Like these are the guys.
Oh yeah,
that will.
It's like documented. Like, hey, if you're a white man, like you can vote, you can do all this shit. But like, and where I was going with it is like being that back then, you could argue two ways, right? So yeah, obviously there were some undebatable advantages that went with it, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, those guys were innovators in their time and they were really good businessmen. Did they have a lot of fucking head start advantages just off the gate because of who they were and who they knew and stuff? Sure, absolutely, 100% they did. However, you could devil's advocate argue that, bring it back to 2021 and be like, yeah, well, dude, railroads and coal and all this stuff, those are the industries of back then, and those guys were a little bit ahead of the game with it, and they had a good mind with it. But if you want to translate that today, the internet has kind of become the new like railroads, coal and the new railroads and stuff like that. So I think the positive side is that there are tons of ways to innovate, you know what I mean, and to make money in new, exciting ways that did not exist, 15 years ago, let alone like 50 or 100 years ago. So that's the bright side to it, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the playing field is level a bit more because it doesn't matter if you're black, white, gay, straight, man, woman, trans, you know what I mean, Asian, whatever you are. If you have a good idea and you have some cool things to say and you have something unique to offer the world, people are there, it's free to put it up and people will pay attention. People could pay attention.
It's much easier, and like you have far less there's far less obstacles to have to come through, and like there's way more there's a lot more avenues that a person can do to to be successful and whatever the fuck they want.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, man. So that's why I think I gotta like try to develop that over time, dude. Or your whole thing with like the being a black dude, that had that degree back then, like doing developing something like that where it's just like obviously it's absolute shit right now, but trying to mold it into something that's like, dude, you guys like people. Don't you hate it when people? Because it's something that a lot of people like my generation and then Gen Z too. Now that Gen Z is starting to get in their 20s and out of college age, it's kind of like that they can relate to it. It's like, bro, you know how hard it is to try to get a fucking good paying job? You know how hard it is to fucking be able to like pay rent?
See, like that's not like that kind of doesn't really bother me as much as like what has really changed from what like you look at. Like you look at people like my age or our age now versus back in like the 50s, dating was so much more easier.
Right.
Like radically easier.
Right.
Back in the day, like literally all you had to do was just make sure you had a good haircut and nice shoes and and like you were just clean cut and like you could promise. Like you promised to like make sure that she was home by 8. Like that. That's all you had to do.
I think another thing that we have never really experienced fully, being in this like digital generation, like being my age, I was at the very start of it, kind of thing. Going into teenage years and young adulthood, and you were like deep in it already. It was already in full effect by the time you got there. Like the artificial aspect of it, right? When it comes to like, think about like we've never experienced like if you wanted to go out and date like as a young man or young woman or whatever, we've never experienced like your only option is to go in person, like to a bar or a club. Like people still do that stuff, sure, but it was like that was the only thing. Like there was no catfishing. You know what I mean? That did not exist, bro. Yeah. There was no fucking, I made my tits a little bit bigger. I made myself look 20 pounds skinnier. Or I took this angle that looked real good that doesn't even represent who I actually am in person.
Right.
Like, it was just, you went to the fucking bar, or you went to the club, or you went to the mall, and that's what everybody fucking looked like. And that was it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got a point, because, like, it was just like, hey, man, it was, like, real, because everybody had to go somewhere in person. There was no swiping. There was no fucking fake ass bullshit fucking profile, And
like just it was so much easier just in the sense that like, and that's my only option. Like I'd much rather that than have to take my chances with So not just, I mean, so how it works pretty much, for those of you who don't know by now, is you have like multiple dating apps, you know, Tinder, Bumble, OkCupid, however, like there's a multitude of them. I mean, there used to be 3, now there's like 100.
Yeah.
And so you use those, and then you make this fucking like bullshit ass profile that you're not taking seriously, that nobody is taking seriously, and like you're like swiping right, or you're just playing. It's so passive,
right?
Like, it just feels like a game you play on your like the way people. My age use Tinder is like the way people just play Angry Birds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just casually swiping just to pass the time, and if something happens, something happens.
Right.
And like what was really fucked is that it's like, I think the stats for it is like 80% of users are men and 20% are women. Mm-hmm. So like already, like women have like way more of a dating, or like way more options than the men do. And like there's like also like there's this bit that like I want to, that I've been coming up with that I want to work on. It's that it's like just how, like, because you've seen how it is on the dating apps, like how the profile pictures are.
I've seen it through friends. Just a quick side note, man, not to get you sidetracked, but dude, this is funny, right? So my wife is 31, right, and I'm 36. So we have been together. We started dating in 2012. Yeah. And then we got married in 2016. So, we both, incidentally, just from the time we got together, and started living together, we entirely missed the whole Tinder, everything.
We
entirely missed it.
You have no idea how much I envy.
We missed the whole thing just because of how long we've been together. So, but I have tons of friends that have been in and out of being single and are single and stuff, and they show me how it works. And because I ask, I'm always curious. I'm like, how does that shit work? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and how is it now that now it's like a household thing? You know what I'm saying? Because if you were like 12. 12 years old, like 8 years ago, now you're an adult, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's just part of your life now.
Yeah. It's part of, exactly. It's just part of your life. Like that's all you, not that like that's all you know, but like that's what you're expecting. Yeah. It's like, if I want sex, if I want
anything. Yeah. If I want to hook up, if I want to actually try to date somebody, if I want, whatever, it's going to start there at least, you know? So what was your bit? What's your bit about the dating apps?
It's just the whole bit is just like the whole premise is just how like it's going back to how it's much easier for like it's very much in favor of women, because like even like setting up the profile is easier for women. Because like so you have like, say on Bumble or on Tinder, you have like 10 different pictures that you gotta or like up to 10, and like the pictures can be like very like promiscuous and scandalous, and like it's very easy to do that. It's very easy. It's not so easy for a guy to be like, hey, I'm gonna like post like some scandalous fucking pics, like to help my friend, because I can't do it, because you can't do too many selfies, right? You can't do too many dog pics, because then girls are gonna think that your dog is your personality, right? So like it's got to be full body pics, but like if you're gonna do like full body pics, you got to have somebody to take the pics with you, right? And like the whole bit is that like, or the joke is that would be a really fucking terrible date for your friend to have you like just take action pictures of you all day.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, just action pics and all that. Yeah, the whole picture thing is just fucking strange to me, dude. Like it, and not just because, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm glad I don't have to do it. Because, dude, if I was single right now, I'd be doing that same thing, because that's what you got to do. It used to be that way. Like, you're younger than me, so I'll just tell. And this isn't hard to understand, but it used to be like that way before Tinder and before smartphones were like just something that everybody had all the time. It was Facebook. Like, you had to be on Facebook, dude. Like, if you weren't on Facebook, bro, you're not meeting girls. Like, you're not fucking getting in touch with them. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing it. You know what I mean? And you're not in touch with the world. And Like if you met a girl in person and you didn't have a Facebook, like it was weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like now Facebook, I feel like has become the old person social media. You know what I mean? But like it used to be the hottest, newest thing. It replaced MySpace. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Instagram didn't exist yet, or at least it didn't. It was an infancy stage, and they hadn't bought it yet and made it big. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, dude, it was like that was all there was. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, it's like a new version of that now. It's like you got to have like the right combination of pictures. You know, it's weird because like you got to. What I've noticed from seeing it, you kind of have to follow this etiquette, this unspoken etiquette to show people that you're not fucking weird or like creepy or
and
whatever.
Like, and here's another point that I'm going to bring up is like, you know how they say like chivalry is dead?
Yeah.
Chivalry is not dead, but it's not what it used to be.
Right.
Because like you were just saying, like there's a whole etiquette to it.
Yeah.
Like there's an etiquette to the pictures, to your bio, to and like God or hopefully you get a swipe, and like in the case that you do, you gotta have the right pickup line, or you know what I mean, and like that's how it is. Like it has to be a pickup line. It can't just be, hey, let's just go out. Like you can't just be fucking direct about it. It's gotta be all nice and subtle.
Yeah, exactly right.
Fucking dumb.
Yeah, that's got to be crazy, man, to have like all those fucking rules. You know what I mean? But like, and I think you'll probably feel the same way though. Like so we both have sisters, right? Like, so that kind of changes my perspective on what things are like for women. You know what I mean? Just because, like, you know, it's like my sister is, you know, a young woman now. You know, she's in her 20s.
Yeah, she's on the opposite end of, yeah.
And it's got to be tough, dude, because you open up a dating app, bro. I mean, you have Instagram, let alone a dating app. I mean, dude, you're getting, like, dick pics from, like, a lot of dudes. Like, your fucking inbox is filling up with all kinds of creepy fucking dudes, you know what I mean, that are just fucking dick picking you.
Dude, it would probably like just be to the point where like you're just like filtering out the dick pics.
You're basically swimming through a sea of dick pics, dude. Yeah, just like Louis C.K.'s joke. It's like, do you have any idea what it's like to be a woman? Like from the time you're 13 years old, it's like swimming through a sea of dicks. Just fucking,
yeah.
Remember that one? Like you're walking down the street, like God,
just trying to go to school.
That shit's so fucking good, dude. That's so fucking good. Chris Rock had another take on that same thing. He's like, do you have an idea what it's like to be a woman? Everybody's been trying to fuck you since you was 13 or whatever.
Bro, there was this I was on Instagram and like I had saw like this chick had just took her phone and like just hit record and just put it like this, so where the camera was facing like right outside.
How many guys are looking at her ass?
Oh, bro, like this was at Home Depot, so it was just a bunch of just sexually fucking frustrated, just
right,
like in their fucking hard hats, guys.
Right. Oh god, yeah. I think I've heard of a couple things like that. Oh man, no, it's gotta be challenging, right? It's gotta be tough. Like, yeah, man, I feel like it's just gotta be. It's got to be scary. So I think your first priority as a girl that's like single or trying to meet somebody, especially if you're using a dating app, I do understand, right? That I think there's a lot of bullshit etiquette on both sides that everybody has to like abide by. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like and like comply to. But at the same time, it's got to be tough for them because it's like, dude, you're more vulnerable. Like men can fucking like rape you. They can harm you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can. The average dude can overpower the average woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's got to be fucking scary. So I think probably your first priority, you know, before or maybe just as important as like looks or personality or whatever is this guy like normal? Is he gonna make me feel comfortable? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's I get it, man. I feel for him. It's a big thing.
What,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
which like kind of goes into yeah, like I guess that would be like the whole reason why like there has to be the precautions that they're that are set, like why when you get a swipe you make sure that you have a good pickup line so that you don't come off as don't come off as creepy.
Right, don't come off as a serial killer, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true, man. It's got to be.
I mean, you know, don't be a serial killer, but But
right?
absolutely don't come off as one.
And then let me tell you, so obviously this could apply to women as well, but this is something that always goes through my head because I always assume the worst of things, dude. Like I grew up, like I didn't have like a fucking super rough ghetto ass childhood or anything, but I've definitely like I've had some experiences. I had a couple challenges like growing up in childhood and stuff like that, and living in different neighborhoods. Yeah. Briefly, like going to middle school and high school, and stuff. I've been jumped before. You know, is my point. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like I've been going to the store in middle school or high school and like been jumped. You know what I mean? And gotten my shit taken from me. You know, and gotten my ass kicked. Yeah. I have been chased home by like older kids that are fucking trying to beat my ass, and I'm like running for my life. So my point is like, have I come from the worst background? No, not by any means, but I've had some experiences that have made me a little bit streetwise. Yeah. I've been homeless on drugs. You know what I mean? I've slept at bus stations. I've slept, you know, just by choice because I'm on drugs and my family doesn't want to have anything to do with me when I was super young, right? Right. So I've had some experiences, man. I've been out in the world. I can see how ugly. I've had glimpses of how ugly it can get, right? And therefore, in situations like that, I always think like, okay, what's the scam? How am I being set up here? How am I being hustled? How am I being put together? Am I a mark in this situation kind of thing? Yeah. Like, so, and my point is bringing back to dating apps. Like, I think what men have to worry about is more on that side. Like, is this a fucking setup? Like, is this, let me look for the telltale sign, red flags that this is some person that it's posing as some hot chick that wants to hook up or something, have a one night stand, and then I get there and it's fucking 3 dudes with baseball bats, yeah, or whatever, that are gonna fucking rape me and take my shit. It happens. It fucking happens. You know what I mean? It happens to people. People get fucking catfished like that sometimes. So yeah. I think that's the thing as a man. I think that's something. Obviously, women have to be careful of that too. But I think talking about like, even though men have less to worry about with being like taken advantage of or sexually assaulted or like whatever, I feel like that's the thing that guys have to be cautious of. Like, don't get caught slipping. Don't get set up in a situation where you get hustled like that, you know? Yeah. Yeah. That's something you got to be careful of.
Yeah. Like it really just like for both ends, like it really just turns into CYA more than, you know, trying to find something like romantically fulfilling, like, or just doing what the fucking app is designed to do. It's really just more about just trying to cover your ass.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think the fact that you have a dog probably helps too.
Dude, he like without even trying, bro. Like, without even trying, like he just looks like a fucking classic dog.
Right? Yeah, it's great. It's got to help. It's gotta help, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. It does, and like of all ages too. Older women especially.
Yeah. That's funny, dude. Well, hell yeah, man. I'm gonna have to have you back on again. We're gonna go ahead and stop it there just because of the time constraints. But yeah, man. Be sure to check Jordan Mack out. Very funny guy, and
August
enjoy getting home
at the at Hyenas,
Fort Worth, right?
Yeah. Fort Worth, the Red Room, 8 p.m. Go and get your tickets before they sell out. I know, like it's.
You can get them on the website, right?
Yeah, you can get them at the website. They got a couple left, so go ahead and get those tickets. I think they're like $12 a piece. VIP is $20.
And fuck yeah. You got anything else coming up besides that? That's what you got right now, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And any other stuff that does happen, I'll be sure to have his socials in the description. So be sure to follow Jordan. And he'll be back on, I'm sure, sometime in the near future. We'll do this again once I get everything set up at home. I'll have you over.
Fucking it.
You know what I mean? So we're not doing this this guerrilla warfare style setup. Other than that, man, keep listening. Crux Nation, Crux, yeah. See you next time.
Let me hear you say Crux, yeah! Crux, yeah! Let me hear you say Crux, yeah! Crux, yeah! Crux, yeah podcast.
Crux proper.
You a clout chasing, faking ass industry dick swallower. I can give a fuck about you and your fake followers.